Hey everybody, welcome to Your Feedback Live. This is our weekly show where we share your views to questions posted over at the Digital DJ Tips website. So the question for this episode is, should I play tracks I love or tracks that flow well? I'm going to read the full reader submitted question over at the site. Here we go. Digital DJ Tips reader Guillermo writes, I've been DJing for 8 years now and have always played a wide range of house and techno music. The last 2 years, I've focused a lot on tech house and deep tech, collecting everything I like. Somehow, I've gotten stuck in a DJ's block. I want to reorganize my library and limit them to a smaller collection of tracks I want to get to know extremely well and I want to play from moving forward. Now, the problem is if I only select the tracks I like the most, I won't have a complete library with tracks that are essential to play. Most of these are gems of different subgenres with complete different grooves that are hard to combine. I also struggle with this on the dance floor. I always try two methods, both of which seems to have their pros and cons. Here they are. First, I try to play only the tracks I enjoy the most. The pros of this are it's more fun and I'm more knowledgeable with the tracks that I'm playing. The cons here are that they're very hard to get a cohesive set when I play these songs. I lose the groove very quickly when mixing because my favorite tracks differ a lot in vibe and flow. So people stop dancing. Not very good, Guillermo. Secondly, I play a set of selected tracks fitting that moment. This often involves playing out of a list of 50 tracks with similar grooves and flow because when people like the kind of tracks, they keep dancing to it. Okay, the pros of this are I play sets where people keep dancing. Now, the con of this is that to be able to do this, I have to collect a lot of music because there are a lot of grooves and vibes, and all of these grooves and vibes need similar tracks to play a set that lasts for at least 1 hour. So, my situation is my collection is built around the second method that I just mentioned. I have way too many tracks from which I know only about 5%. But when I have to play in a venue, I succeed at making a playlist with well fitting grooves. It won't sound too great though, since I don't know my tracks well enough. I want to get better and want to create my own style so I can play great sets with great sounds. I don't have a problem with keeping my own identity. The problem is that since my favorite tracks vary through all these different grooves, I end up with a problem of my first method, which is I just play a mishmash of different tracks. On the other hand, if I decide to focus on one or two grooves, it means I can't use a lot of tracks that I really like. This is why I have no idea how to choose my own style and cultivate it in a way that I can use as a professional DJ. So that is the question that Guillermo posted over on the Digital DJ Tips website. And before I move on over to your views, I'm going to share the answer that Phil Morse, our founder, offered to Guillermo. And Phil says, a DJ's job starts with knowing his or her tunes well. That trumps everything. If you only know 5% of your tunes, that's a big problem. Indeed. To start with, your library is way too big. Keeping at least an hour of tunes that all sound the same for every little genre and subgenre is restrictive and distracting. You are absolutely right to want to reorganize your library to keep only the tracks you like the most. DJing is about the transfer of energy, passion, and love for the music from DJ booth to dance floor. So only keep the tracks that you absolutely cannot live without. The rest are simply getting in your way. So wise words from our founder over there. And again, before I move over to your views, I am going to share my answer first. Now, I think this really depends on the style of set that you want to play, as well as the crowd that you're playing for. Now, personally, whenever I DJ out, I get like 60 minutes to play my own DJ set. And what I try to do in that 60 minutes is I try to fit in as many songs that I like in all the styles of music that I enjoy. This makes for a really interesting and a really varied, almost schizophrenic DJ set. But the crowds that come to my shows, they kind of expect that of me already. So it really isn't a big deal. In fact, people would probably ask me what was wrong with me if I wasn't playing music from different genres and different decades and different energies and tempos. That's just the style that I've cultivated through the years. I've been DJing since what, 1999, and I just love so many different styles of music, and I would like my DJ sets to sort of send that impression or make that impression over to my crowd that I do like different types of music, and therefore these are the types of music that I enjoy. These are what you're going to be dancing to. Now, there is a massive difference if I am going to be playing in a club night that has a very strict music policy. Let's say that I'm going to be DJing at an underground techno club. There is one such club here in Manila called Time in Manila. Really, really great place. And you can't play any commercial tracks, no top 40, no club music. It's strictly house and techno. Now, for gigs like these, of course, I have a playlist that I've called, and more or less I already know what I'm going to be playing. I'm 95 or 99% familiar with the tunes that I'm going to be dropping, and I always stick to a certain flow. Now, I may pick up the energy or pick up the tempo towards the middle or towards the end of my set, but I try really hard not to break from that flow because in that scenario, people are going to be expecting a distinct flow to be present throughout my set. If I suddenly drop a pop banger or drop like a trap tune in the middle of a banging techno track, it's going to confuse people during that performance. And in that situation, I don't want that to happen. Right, so that's it for my answer. Basically, for me, it really depends on the situation. So now let's get to the answers that you guys submitted. First up, this is from Alt Rock. By the way, I'm calling all of these answers over from the Digital DJ Tips site. We've got a new site that just launched a few weeks back, and all these answers come from the comment section. So if you want your answers to be read out in the next your feedback episode, please comment on the articles over there. Cool. So this first answer from you guys comes from Alt Rock, and he says, "My secret weapon is an add-on in Virtual DJ that suggests songs based on the currently playing track's BPM and key. It's a fantastic way to cruise for a few songs in a set before inspiration strikes again. It's also useful for genre hopping. In that respect, I can't have enough songs in my arsenal, so there are many options to choose from." Yes, thanks for this, Alt Rock. He is talking about the track recommendation feature that is present in Virtual DJ, and in fact, a bunch of other DJ apps have that already. I know Cross DJ has it, DJ Pro has it as well. Of course, there are a bunch of other DJ apps that also have this track recommendation feature, and it's a really cool way to sort of dig through your library, especially if you've got a lot of songs on your hard drive. You may find track combinations that you otherwise may not have thought of. But at the end of the day, there really is no substitute to knowing the tracks in your music or DJ collection by heart. This is the single biggest hack that you can make in order to improve your set programming as well as your music appreciation. You may even find like a couple of tracks in there that you may have already forgotten, especially if you've been building your collection over a long period of time. So, guys, always make time to listen to music, search for new music, and also to cull your library. If there are tracks there that don't belong in your collection, feel free to remove them. That's you should always keep your DJ library pruned. All right. Before we move on to our next answer, I just want to check out the comments over here in the live feed. People are answering. Shani Hachiko says, "Hello from Cebu City here in the Philippines." Hey, Shani. Nice of you to join. Juan Miswara says, "Hello." And here's an answer from Michael Girth. And he says, "Tracks that flow, you love, that you read the crowd and know they will love too." Yeah, so thank you for your answer, Michael. Folks, if you want to answer the question over here, feel free to write it in the comments, and I'm going to read it out as we go through this episode. Okay, cool. So let's move on over to our next answer. This one's coming from DJ Peter, and he says, while sites like this, meaning digital DJ tips, can shorten the time it takes to learn technical skills and understand a lot of what it's all about to be a DJ, learning the most important skill set, knowledge in music, cannot be forced. Sure, you can get help to know about music, but to know it, you still need to listen and learn how to listen and when to play the music. Also, taking into consideration to whom, what age, and what situations, and which tracks will support each other. That really goes hand in hand with knowing the songs in your music library. To be good at this takes time, and it's your time to spend. You really get to choose how you want to spend it. No one else can do it for you, and you can't buy a package of knowledge. Yes, not unless we are living in the Matrix and you can just jack in to a cable at the back of your neck and learn Kung Fu. I'm kidding, DJ Peter. I know that Phil has said this more than once, and he is absolutely right. You need to listen to music all the time, and you need to find the time and the ways to do it. To reach new levels as a DJ, this is essential. For myself, I have three areas important to me as a DJ. While connected, I still consider them as individual subjects. First up, music I play to satisfying paying customers and their guests. It's the first area. Second area is music I play for my own pleasure. And third is how I best perform in the booth regardless of the other two, or regardless of whether I'm playing music for a crowd or I'm playing alone. To create a happy crowd is in itself is at least as fun and important to me, and the music is just the tool I use to do it. Sometimes areas 1 and 2 are the same, but this helps me to prioritize which music to focus on at every given time. So just to reiterate what DJ Peter said, it really is important to know the music that you're going to be playing and also to have an open mind when it comes to listening to music styles that may or may not fall in your sphere of enjoyment. We're going to have an article over at the Digital DJ Tips website very, very soon on why it is important to listen to a broad range of music. So do wait out for that one. Cool, let's move on over to our next answer. This one is from DJ Alex, and he says, knowing your tunes inside out, upside down, and backwards is key. It takes years, but the deeper your understanding, the better your mixes, the smoother your sets, the more uplifting the journey is for the crowd. Don't be afraid to jump into different types of music. Stretch your creative boundaries and play to different crowds. You'll wind up being well-rounded and more skillful. Yeah, thank you for that, DJ Alex. Now, before we move on to our next answer, I just want to check out the comments box right now. And I want to say hi, of course, to everybody who's joining the live stream. Hey, folks, how y'all doing? So this answer is from Misael, and he says, doing a mainstream gig, private party, corporate show, etc., I often go out with some disco, new disco, funk to get people going. It's a great way to get started. But as soon as I get a couple of people on the dance floor, as soon as I start a big hyped hit, when he drops like a really big banger, the floor gets filled, but I feel that I can't go back again with more unknown music since the crowd has been given what they want. So, Misael, sometimes that does happen. You start off with a couple of unfamiliar tracks, and then as your set progresses, you drop a really big banger, and people have their hands in the air, they're going wild, people are screaming, people are having a great time, and then sometimes you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know whether I can play this underground track next, or what if I lose the energy on the dance floor because I play something that people don't know. It's going to be up to your discretion on how you want to handle this, but from my experience, when I encounter situations like this, I always have a rule of three. I'll play 3 bangers, and then I play 1 unknown track. And from that unknown track, I gauge the reaction of my dance floor. By playing this track that they don't know, are they still dancing? Do they start to leave the dance floor? Did they get a drink? Did they grab a cigarette? Do they start texting on their phones or going on Instagram and checking their feed. I think this is an important gauge because no, every crowd reacts differently. Not all dance floors are gonna expect you to play bangers all of the time. It depends. Sometimes they're gonna be a little bit more lenient. They're gonna allow you to play a couple of underground tracks. You may even lower the energy just a little bit, but it is ultimately up to you to decide when to wield that track that they may not know or that you think won't be as big a hit as the other tracks that you've played, but could have the chance to really take the night into a totally different direction. So it's part of just crowd reading, and this is something that you get better with as time goes on and as you play more DJ gigs. So thank you for that question, Miss Ale. It's awesome. I just want to say hi again to folks who just joined the live stream. Hey, Frank, I see you here, and hi, Ian, folks that I met at the BPM Pro Show a couple of years back. Really awesome to see you guys on this live stream. Cool. So let's move on over to our next answer. This one is from Maury Moore, and he says, never forget for whom you are playing. It's important that you enjoy playing, but most important is to see that the crowd is happy and they're having a great time. Once you see all people happy and dancing, you'll start to even love some songs that maybe you wouldn't listen to in your house. Always remember, this is a job, not a hobby. If you are a professional, if you are playing for people and you're getting paid to do it, yes, it is a job, not just a hobby. And you have to entertain your dance floor. He goes on further to say, it's like sex. Enjoy yourself, but think of the other person first. Yes, be a little bit selfless. The flow, the energy of the dance floor is the most important thing. If you aren't happy when they're crazy, then maybe you should think about changing to another profession. Indeed, Maury. One of the great joys of DJing is sharing the music that you love with other people, and basically all of you just being in this one space where you can just enjoy the vibe and enjoy the energy and enjoy the music that originally only you yourself liked, and now the entire room is vibing to. That's just one of the coolest things about spinning, in my opinion. Our next answer, and this is the final one actually, this comes from Tribal Pilot, and he says, one thing that's helped me find good matches for difficult tracks is playing them in tag team sessions or back-to-back sets with other DJ friends. Of course, they are using their own music library with different tracks, but seeing how someone else with similar music tastes handles it lets me hear it in a different context and gives me new clues as to how to approach it. In other words, it gives me ideas on how to mix out from a different point, how to change the feeling, or even how to change the musical key, and so on. It also helps me filter out different frequency range or look for a new track, like a given track for next time I'm on Beatport. And basically, the list is endless. Thank you for that, Tribal Pilot. Indeed, when you are bouncing tracks off of one another, if you've got a friend and you guys are doing back-to-back set, and that just really opens up so much more possibilities to the tunes that you already have in your playlist, by virtue of the fact that you've got another pair of ears listening to your track, interacting with it, mixing in and out of it, and even manipulating it, whether by using effects through EQs or filters, as you mentioned, or maybe just looping a section of it and then layering another track on top of it. These are just like those really, really cool moments when you're doing a B2B set with another friend. Especially if you guys are on the same wavelength and you just really know how to feed off each other and off of the crowd. It just really creates for some purely magical moments that are spontaneous and that just sometimes can't be replicated when you're DJing alone. So thanks for that, Tribal Pilot, and that is going to be the last answer for this episode of Your Feedback. Now, I always check the Digital DJ Tips website for answers to questions that we post. Whenever it's the weekend, we always have 2 or 3 your questions or over to you articles over there. And that's where I get the answers as well as the content for these episodes from. So if you want to be featured in an upcoming episode of Your Feedback, just answer the questions via the comments over at the Digital DJ Tips site. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. I will see you guys next week for another episode of Your Feedback Live. My name is Joey. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.